The one flavour match I would absolutely love to see is the Balrog, but I just don't think anyone's going to be using it because it's just not very good. So we're just going to have to settle for Quintorius Lawmaster, the Elephant Cleric. Artwork's weird. It looks like he's got scented candles around him. But I guess they're like weaponized scrolls. I think these scrolls, laser scrolls. We could all do with some laser scrolls in our life. And of course, a selfless savior. Good boy. Good doggy. One of the best uncommons, I think, ever made. And the opponent knows that, so they're shredding him into a paste. A volcanic magma paste. Right. We're going to do a risky thing here. We're not going to play land. And that's because I want to go for the Lord Warhound to get our 4th land. Nahiri. That's going to be annoying. She can make stuff happen. Although they do have artifacts and enchantments. We do have the Loran of the Third Path to deal with such threats. Sadly, Quintorius is not 4 power though, so the Wanderer is not going to be able to deal with it. So it looks like they've got a Super Friends build. And they are going to tick up to get a mountain. Attacks a player each combat available. Interesting. So I can't target them? Such is life. So I can't attack them. That is annoying. Okay, we'll pass. What's the ultimate on this? Just cast off from the graveyard, and this is mountain equals 4 damage. Okay. You have to be careful, because if they get to ultimate on that, it's going to kick our ass. Although it's a 2-colour deck, so chances of just... I mean, they've got 2 mountains in hand, so they could bank those for later. Attacks a player again. Okay. And a Showdown of the Skulls that we can actually destroy with the Lorian, because you're worth it. And it's loads of lands and a Zerda. And a Demystify. Okay. They've got 1 white open, so they could have a sword, Swords to Plowshares, or a Mana Tithe or something. We have a Mana Tithe, okay. So let's go for Archangel Elspeth. We can pump up. That's already at ultimate. We could minus to let Gandalf kill the Nahiri, but then the Koth is going to start annihilating us. Let's create a soldier. Do they have a spell? And we're going to go at Koth, sadly. What is going on here? What spell is this exactly?
I'm tougher than you.
Okay. Interesting build. I mean, Quintorius cares about non-creature on land. So yeah, it could just be a Super Friends build. Zerda is going to make their activated abilities cost less. Fateful Absence. Oh, that's a shame. Gets rid of our Elspeth. But now the Wanderer can deal with the Zerda.
Mirrodin is our land.
And if they target Gandalf to attack them, then the Loyal Warhand will be doing the heavy lifting here. Damn, that is a shame. They've got so many lands. 3 mountains in hand. That's crazy. We need to deal with Koth ASAP. What have they got? I feel like they've got something for 1 mana. Farewell doesn't deal with Planeswalkers, sadly.
2 mages duel.
And the Wanderer is a nice buffer as well. She stops damage effects, killing our other permanents and us. Or let's go into Koth. I think Koth's annoying me the most because it's giving them so much value. Even a Nahiri stops us attacking herself. Interesting ability, right? It defers an attack to themselves rather than Walker. Very annoying to be honest. If they ever fare well, that would be horrendous for us. Mondrak. Okay. So another creature with 4 power. Interesting. Which means that the Wanderer can actually exile that as well. As long as I don't have any other protection. And these mantas in their hand are just so scary. Because that's 12 damage if the ultimate goes off. Alright, let's see what we got then. Samwise can bring something back. Right, let's see if we can target Mondrak. Interesting. So they just sacrificed it. And let's try and get the cloth here. Take him off the table. Intriguing. I feel like I've been worried for nothing.
It's retreat
Down to 9 life. I mean, Nahiri's good at protecting herself, but not himself. Smothering Tithe. So the Loran can deal with that, and that's fine. Targeting Gandalf. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 1 off death. We can flash in the Loran here as well, because Gandalf gives our legends flash. Yeah. Loran's going to come in with her Silex dish. Kill the Tithe. Twice in case they have some kind of, I don't know, redirection effect. What exactly is in their hand? Is it just lands? And then we can draw a card here. Hopefully that doesn't backfire because we have no mana open now. Ooh, Minas Tirith. That's a very, very good land. And I think we have lethal. And offensive bolsters twice. They've got 4 mana open, which means the Mana Tithe actually protects us here. So let's risk it with the Yanofenza. So if they have Settle, they're dead, ironically enough. Settle equals death. Wandering Emperor. Well, that equals death as well. We got him. As long as it was a 4 mana spell, we had him. Oh, that feels pretty good. Oh, the Nexus just have 1. GG. Interesting deck. Super friends with an elephant, dude. Welcome to yet another exciting Lord of the Rings historic Brawl video. Today we're looking at Gandalf the White, who is pretty interesting, pretty unique. When I first looked at the card, I thought it was just a better version of Alishnorn, Mother of Machines, where it's a double Panamonican, but on closer inspection, it's a bit harder to use. And that's mostly because the sentence I actually didn't glance the first time. So if a legendary permanent or artifact enters or leaves, doubles the trigger, it's the legendary part that makes this build very difficult in Historic Brawl, because I don't think there's quite enough legendary ETBs or Death Trigger support in Mono White to really kind of make him as good as he could be right now. But I still think he's pretty good just for the flash ability and being able to flash in legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. So he's a lot like Wrath Capuchin, where you can operate a slightly control-y build, playing things in your opponent's turn. The issue is, if the opponent kills Gandalf once, 7 mana isn't really appealing anymore, but I guess it's just something there. In order to optimize the deck as much as I could, I tried to make it a little bit Super Friends, because I feel like that's where White kind of strongest power point is right now. So I've got stuff like the Eternal Wanderer, which is a really great control card to help you just finish off the game, clear the board, create double strikers. A really fantastic card. Ugin the Ineffable is just really powerful. Just can get rid of any permanent that's really strong. We've got stuff like Elspeth Resplendent, which gets to put stuff into play, puts counters on creatures, makes them stronger. It's kind of like a Wanderer theme deck. You've got the other Wanderer and the original Wanderer as well, which can exile things, including Atraxa and Itali. So this is actually pretty useful, and you can do it 2 times before her loyalty goes to 1, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, the deck doesn't really synergize too much because we don't have too many legends. The legends that I found that do double the ETBs that we can utilize, we've got Anafenza whenever something comes in. bolster 1, so you can do that twice. Daxos is pretty sweet with Gandalf out, because whenever something comes in, you'll gain 2 life, which can save you against more aggressive decks. Samwise comes in and returns a creature, well, a permanent from your graveyard, to your hand if it died this turn. With Gandalf out, you can get 2 things back. And we've got Rasad, which is like just an exile effect when he comes in, but you can do it a couple of times with Gandalf out. So there's not that many, to be honest. There are a few regular ETB things in the deck to go along with the Monocon and the original Elish Norn. But remember, the Elish Norn can do anything, which makes her supremely stronger in every sense of the word. So, yeah, Gandalf's an interesting one. I think we'll have to watch this space and see how he progresses as time goes on, as the years go by, and more legends enter the format with better ETBs and or death triggers. It's weird because White doesn't really have death triggers, I've noticed. There's very few cards. I mean, Solemn Simulacrum isn't White, but it has a death trigger when it dies. Draw a card, but it doesn't synergize with Gandalf because it's not legendary. There is something you can do, which is interesting. If you get tempted by the tempt mechanic, it makes something a legend, so that's something to think of. But then that won't work for the ETBs because it won't enter as a legend, but at least it will leave as a legend. So there's a lot of nuance to this deck. If you are building it, I would highly recommend the new Minister Earth card, which is really cool. It lets you draw cards in white, which is silly. Put the Nykthos in because it just gives you loads of white devotion in the deck. And a couple of new cards, Lost to Legend, which is such a good removal spell. This is supremely good. Do not underestimate this. And also Reprieve, which is an unbelievably powerful blue spell for white. Returning a spell to its owner's hand is basically like, it's like a counter spell. Unbelievable how good this is. I feel like this could be used in multiple formats, not just Commander, maybe 60 cards, smaller formats, but we'll see. I definitely think this is a staple, and it's an uncommon, and it draws you a card. Like, what the heck? But yeah, let's get into the games and see how you like it. Don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe to support the channel, and you can always donate to help me out because I'm poor. It is interesting how this Samwise Gamgee deck is proving to be incredibly popular. I mean, I'm not going to complain because it means we get to see some different decks. But yeah, I guess it just goes to show how powerful food tokens are now, you know? Who would have thought it? One more elves. And I think we are just going to exile this. Because if we don't, we always regret not doing so. We don't want them to play turn 3 spells. Apparition. Okay, let's just keep getting rid. Removal is the name of the game here, guys. If you can keep taking care of your opponent's threats, you should be able to survive. And that's just sadly what 1v1 really is. It's a battle of attrition. That is a really cool artwork. The blossoming sands there. 5. So I would go for Gandalf, but yeah, I'm going to go for Basri Cat here.
I will face this trial with courage.
I'm going to swing in, start getting that damage in, because they're a food deck. It means that they are going to probably have ways to just gain life, because food can be sacrificed in that way to gain 3, or they can sack it to return historic cards back. So interestingly, our decks are actually fairly similar. Line up the third path. This is interesting because we can use the Samwise to get back that signet. So they come and swing in here. We're going to surprise them with Sam. Our version of Sam, that is, because they've got a different one there. Always feels good to get them. Oh, I should have made the Apparition a Ring Bearer. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Seriously? So they quit because they didn't deal 1 damage to Basri Ket? Okay, fair enough. Moving on. We go first. Well, I'm pretty happy with this hand. The Selfless Savior coming down early it's okay. I mean, I'd rather get a card with a Vampire, but that would be on turn 4. So let's just ensure we can protect our future plays here. Shining Wing 0. I think that's a Gundam. Any Gundam fans out there? Can confirm that? I know you're a Gundam fan. I think Johnny, one of my friends Johnny is. And JD, actually. Okay, Cold Steel Heart. They're ramping into the Mr. Frog, Mr. Kermit the Frog. The One Ring is decent, just being able to draw some cards. So we do want some lifelink to get around the life loss. So if you've not seen how good the One Ring is, it's ridiculous. It gives you protection from everything until your next turn. Just you, so your creatures can still die. But also you can put a burden counter on it and draw a card equal to the burden counters on it. So you can. There was one game previously where I drew 5 a turn with this. Well, 5 than 6, but you will take the damage for it. But you know that is a humongous swing. It's a bit like a slower version of Phyrexian Arena, but it certainly feels stronger after turn 5, I'd say, because Phyrexian Arena drops turn 3, you draw a card turn 4, then 5, that's 2 cards, but the One Ring drops turn 4, you draw a card, then turn 5, draw 2 cards. Yeah, so yeah, imagine Phyrexian Arena on acid, and also it can go into any deck, and that's why this card is so expensive. I think I saw this card trending for like $60 the other day, which is absurd. Dig Up is scary because it means they're going to get maybe a board wipe. Like a Languish would be terrible because we can't protect ourselves from that. So maybe we should go for the One Ring first. Protection from everything. So this is cool because it protects you from stuff like Thoughtseize and land. Swing for 3. Only until end turn, of course. Now we do have the Daxos, which is nice because it means we start to gain some life back when we play creatures. Eldest Reborn, so that's going to kill the Selfless Savior, but we can recast that with the Serra Paragon. Interesting. Interesting indeed. So they're going to make us discard a card. Probably going to be the Tyrite Sanctum. Although we do draw an extra card here. And we can draw 2 more with the One Ring. So let's just see how we go. I'm pretty confident with our field. We have an awesome field. And just so you know, Gandalf in our deck here is more of a side dish, I'd say. Not every commander is the main course. I will iterate that. If you're new to the game, you've not played the game very long, the commander should kind of inform the colours in your deck. It doesn't always mean you need it out to do well. Inquisition of Kozilek. That's annoying because they can get rid of either of those cards. So I guess Swords is the one they're going to take because the Daxos... I don't know. Daxos just keep us in the game longer. And a Druid class. Okie dokie. So now in the next turn they're going to be able to resurrect anything. But the silly thing is they've got nothing to resurrect. So if they've gone for the Daxos, they could have actually gotten that back. Yeah. And I don't foresee a board wipe coming. Because they played the Paradise Druid. We might as well play the land because that's from the graveyard. We keep drawing cards. Oh my goodness. And an Archangel Elspeth. This is not looking good for our opponent here.
So long as I am by your side.
Wozers and Matrosas. But yeah, I mean, if they do have a language, then they have baited us beyond belief. Which is a bit of alliteration for you there. If you're into the bees. However, if they do kill our field, we can let Archangel Elspeth hopefully get to 6 loyalty, and we can try and bring them all back from the graveyard. That's why I like using this, because I don't really care about the first 2 abilities too much. Her -6 is really, really strong. If your curve is 3 and less, yeah, I don't think they had much chance there. Best case scenario, they languished or board wiped, but yeah, as I said, it would have killed their Paradise Druid, and I think we have that with the Archangel Elspeth, and then drawing 3 cards next turn. Well, this turn, and then next turn 4 cards with the One Ring. It's a fantastic card. Okay, Start Hand's not great, but the One Ring just makes every hand insane, right? It's got to be keep with this. The fact it's indestructible as well. I mean, I know the flavour is there, but my goodness. Opponents can't even stop you from drawing cards. Slightly concerning facing Soul of Windgrace because there's a land destruction deck in every sense of the word. And it's so hard to kill. Because this is so similar to Golos. The fact that Golos, every time Golos comes in, gives you a land, which is half your command attacks. So if Soul of Windgrace comes in, it pays half its command attacks for the next time if it dies. So it's very difficult to get rid of. Deep Root Wayfinder. I think I'm just going to bounce that back to their hand. Eternal Wanderer is very good. Okay, so Lauren doesn't have any targets yet, so I don't want to use her yet. Unless they play an Artifact or Enchantment here, that would be good. Next turn, I think we're going to go for the Solemn. And then work our way up to the Eternal Wanderer. They really want to get her out, don't they? Good card, I suppose. Fragment Reality. Still going for the Solemn. Surveil 1, then you return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Does that mean was that really good for 2 mana? Like, talk about power creep. Wowzers. 2 mana, 2/3, so that's already above, you know, that's already really decent. And then you have attack, Surveil 1, and then, so like, the fact it's not Scry as well, and then you can return a land. For 2 mana. Jesus. That is super good. So they're going to Field of Ruin here, and then if they... They're going to get that freaking land back, aren't they? Oh, that's disgusting. They can only kill non-basics with that, but I was hoping to keep some of my special lands. I guess we can just Fragment Reality here. Get it off the table. It does replace it with a smaller creature, but... Unless they give it protection. Our elves. And a Satan Wayfinder. So yeah, another land for the Soul of Windgrace to get. At least Shieldred goes to the bin. Basri Ket, though. If we get Basri Ket's ultimate, you know what happens. And then we're going to hold this back as a blocker. We need another land. That's the main thing. So if Solemn dies, we might get a land, and then we can get Eternal Wanderer, which would be super, super powerful if they play any more creatures here. But yeah, Soul of Windgrace is not a deck I like to face because land destruction decks are a bit controversial. I'll say a bit. They're quite controversial. And this is why. Although, we can use Samwise to get land back because it does say permanent. But yeah, it slows us down, man. So obnoxious. And a Dark Ritual. Okay. So that kills the Solemn. Gives us... Okay. So they're going to attack in with the Elf and the everything. Sure. See, they thought they were clever there, didn't they? They thought they had us. Go for the Ardenvale. But in reality, no. We're going to protect the Basri Ket. Thank you very much. Ossification. 1 ring gives us protection, but then we can't protect Basri. Maybe we just go for Gandalf. Do we go for Gandalf here? Tick up on Basri. Tick up on Basri or nothing, and then do Gandalf in their turn.
I trust in your abilities.
Yeah, I guess. Man, losing that land meant that we couldn't go for the Wanderer here, which is a shame, because we could have made some double strikers. The synergy of Basri Ket with Eternal Wanderer is cool, because if she makes double strikers and Basri Ket puts counters on the double striker, that is very strong. Valakut Exploration, okay. So they're going to play a land, which triggers it. Or not. Sure thing. And they can still go for Soul of Windgrace. Infernal Grasp. Well, that's annoying. So now I don't want to go for Gandalf because it's just going to kill it. Talk about lucky, hey? But it doesn't mean they have to hold up 2 mana, so they can't actually go for Soul of Grace. So they have a choice. They're going to go for Soul of Grace anyway. Gets a land back, which triggers Valakut again. Oh, they still are powerful land as well. That's annoying. 2 good cards that they can't cast. Fantastic. Flash in the Gandalf. Gives us a bit of protection. Okay. So I missed another land drop. So annoyingly, ossification is very weak because it means that they can destroy our lands, but I think we just go for it anyway, right? Gonna ossify Soul of Grace. By the way, ossify, I googled this, it means to turn something into like bone, I think. Kind of a cool thing. And Loran's gonna kill the Valakut. Double triggers. Shame we don't have 2 things to kill, but... And we can attack, but then it weakens Basriket. We want to... Every loyalty he loses is a turn away from his ultimate, so we'll see. If they have casualties of war, that's how they turn around. They do, don't they? Oh, Tectonic Rift. Why did they kill that land? That's strange. I guess in case we had a way to flicker it, I suppose. Attacking in with both is a strange one. Oh, creatures without flying can't block. Oh, I see. Oh, that's annoying. And a Fable. Man, they are really gunning for the Basriket, aren't they? They are seriously stinging us here. Okay, so Gideon can give Vigilance to Gandalf, which is actually pretty relevant.
Your light will cleave the darkness.
Put counters. Make Loran a tempting block for them as well. I'm happy to trade Loran for something that gives them treasures, because that's just annoying. No blocks. Down to 16. See what they got. If they discard their hand, it means it was terrible cards. Lands and lands. Damn. How many more land destruction cards do you think they're going to have? They've already destroyed 2. We return 1. Attacking in with that. Interesting move. Did they really need that treasure? Well, I guess we're going to find out when they kill Gandalf. Or they have a board wipe or something. Maybe they wanted to get him down to 4 toughness. Yeah, not sure. Soul of Grace gets a land back. And the Glisser. That's a good hit. So, I don't really like doing this, but I think I'm just going to activate Loran because I really want to get land. Day of Judgment. That is actually good because we can give Gandalf Indestructible.
Prepare for battle.
It's actually pretty awesome. That is actually pretty awesome. So we lose Loran, but they lose everything, which is fine by me. Now, interestingly, Gideon now has +1 counters, but also loyalty. Let's see how much Gandalf can do. Gandalf is 1 point off lethal. Another land. So remember, this Gideon is -6, can exile something, so this might be useful. The Windgrace only has 4 toughness as well. They have a casualties of war, don't they? Please don't. It's going to kill our whole field. But 1 Planeswalker and 3 lands. Seriously? That is so obnoxious.
Curse the darkness.
I actually cannot believe that they had that. I'm actually in shock. They had so much removal and land destruction. Goodness me. Down to 0. Holy crap. Well, at least if we get a land, we can use the Wanderer on the Soul of Windgrace, but this is such an obnoxious game, my goodness. Absolutely gobsmacked. Casualties of War, Tectonic Rift, Goblin Ruin Blaster, Soul Shatter. Yeah, and also this is definitely not their original build. Know that for a fact. I've seen this deck before. Come on, just one time, give us a land here. Okay, decent. Doesn't give it hexproof, but they can discard to draw a card. Sick.
Let's get started.
See your Solar Windgrace. Oh, jeez, I really need to kill this guy. It's so annoying.
Time to meet your breaker.
Okay, tick up. So if we can keep Basri alive here,
My sand
we can
will
ultimate next turn. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they can go for Solar Windgrace again. But we can just exile it again. Graveyard Trespasser. Intriguing. So they're going for the life gain angle here. And then Urg, Spawn of Turg. Lands in your graveyard. Interesting, because you don't want to get lands out of the graveyard, so we can exile that, and that is exactly what we're going to do. This doesn't give an hexproof, thank goodness.
I'll be quick.
Right, ultimate Basri.
I have been found unworthy. We will be found
So we have to
worthy
cast a
together.
spell. I think we go for Morale, so we'll be able to... Well, actually, we can't block the Grave Trespasser here, but... Oh, no, we can, because we're going to get a Soldier and a counter on all our things, aren't we?
Buzzword
Which is
prove
actually
your
insanity, because
and
Morale
storm.
attacks gaining more Soldiers. Whenever we attack, create X Soldiers equal to the amount of Soldiers. Whoa, that's a synergy and a half. Come on. Please. I really need to win this game. We've lost so many lands. It's infuriating. I'm sure you'll all agree. Maybe you can tell me in the comments below how many lands you lost before you won a game and how low you got. I think 4 is a lot. Like, what are they tapping here? Soul of Windgrace, perhaps? Destroy another land. Okay. That is so rude. And then it flips into this. Sure, so we get a land. Right, let's go for the One Ring. Screw you with your freaking land destruction. Protection from everything. Let's draw a card. We are literally hanging by a thread here.
Your allies will support. Fight together.
So attack with my realm.
Victory.
Suck it. Such an annoying player. You know, I know it's a game with many different techniques to kill people, but land destruction, it just feels wrong. Feels so... It's dirty. It's so dirty. Star of Extinction. Holy crap.
I guess that's it then.
Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.